Welcome to a Mormon Truth video where we are uncovering what the church has been covering up. Changes in the essays, meaning the gospel topics essays, if you're not familiar with them. So it says, okay, I'm going through the DNA essays at the bottom and it says updated this year. What was changed? Did anybody save or print the original? Was it printed in an ensign? Not likely. That's because the church gets rid of old speak and changes to new speak, as we found in Orwell's 1984. Kind of why the Journal of Discourses disappeared. They recalled those quite a while back when they decided they didn't want everybody to see what they'd been saying in case it didn't go along with what they were going to be saying. This person here as a way to do some side-by-side comparisons using archive.org and diffchecker.com. Available there. If you don't know what the gospel topics essays are, I guess you're a little out of it here. So just quickly, the church has got a lot of problems with its history and things like that. So, like with the Book of Abraham being a complete phony 2,000 years after it was supposedly have written is when it was written, and it had nothing to do with Abraham as a funerary text, or why Joseph Smith was marrying other dudes' wives or being shown as sealed to them, basically as a cover-up, or who knew about the magic rock in the hat until until South Park let everybody know, and then the church actually showed the magic stone that they'd had hiding in the First Presidency vault. So those are the kind of things that are on the Gospel Topics essays. And this person here says they recently redid the format of all of them to place the actual essays behind a read more click hidden amongst other clutter. And yep, that is for sure right. That's a big thing that I noticed too, because we're going to look at that. Because they obviously don't want us to see the Gospel Topics essays. They only had them there so that if you happen to put in search terms in the internet regarding controversial issues that are not consistent with the church being guided by an all-knowing, unchanging, wise, true, merciful, good guy God, then they wanted to put their 2 cents worth in and see if they could lead you back into the fold. But they sure don't want members finding it. If they don't know there's a problem, they don't want to alert you to it. So, in the Gospel Topics essays, if you do manage to find it, the best other way I found is to find it, using the sitemap button there, which says sitemap at the bottom of any of the pages on LDS.org. Then you can find these essays where they're not coming clean. They may try to appear that they are, but they basically find another way to lead you into an argument where the end result is always, well, there isn't enough data to figure it out, so you'll just need to pray. And the assumption is, if you're righteous, Jesus will tell you the church is true. If he doesn't, you must not have been righteous enough. So it says here at the beginning, recognizing that today so much information about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints can be obtained from questionable and often inaccurate sources. Officials of the church began in 2013 to publish straightforward, in-depth essays on a number of topics. This was something so in my memos here, basically this is like a BS meter, a lie detector. So we start right with the beginning there. So much information about the church that is inaccurate and from questionable and inaccurate sources. And I would say that LDS.org rates right up there in that category, along with, it's probably the most inaccurate on critical issues. There are some other sites where people have exaggerated if they're picking up on Ed Decker stuff. Some of the evangelicals misstate and twist some things, but they often get a good portion of it right, actually. And so the church recognized this. The brethren in their prophetic wisdom recognized in 2013 that they were going to do something different than have apologetics over there at BYU or something. So let's examine the introduction to the gospel topics essays here, remembering how deceptive they can be. Okay, so 1, yes, that was a problem. 2, publish straightforward, in-depth essays. These are nothing like straightforward essays. In-depth, they're in-depth on everything that doesn't matter and everything that leads you away from the main purpose of the topic, or the most pertinent items to it. In other words, like the scriptures, which they avoid. And I've done videos on this, so I'm going to post a couple here. All right. And these have been approved by the First Presidency and the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. And the purpose has been to gather information from many different sources. Well, they do a little bit of that. And publications, and place them in the Gospel Topics section of LDS.org, where the material can be more easily accessed and studied by church members and other interested parties. Well, the masters of marketing that they are, that would be pretty easy for us if they put a little advertisement for it on the homepage of LDS.org like they do for everything else they want you to see, but they don't. They haven't, at least in the last 4 years that I'm aware of. They're tucked away nicely where you'll only find them if you know there's a problem. And as far as accurate, no, they're quite deceptive. And I will urge everyone to look at some of these videos that I've produced going into depth in some of these essays and this statement and see how honest they are, because they're not. The church places great emphasis on knowledge and on the importance of being well informed about church history, doctrine, and practices. The BS meter just went off the charts. They hide them, and they do everything they can to lead you away from what is true, as we will find as we examine the race and priesthood essay or the DNA essay, along with others, but I've paid particular attention to these two on videos I've done, showing that they say one thing and we go to the scriptures and find actually the exact opposite. No wonder they don't like using the scriptures in them. Alrighty then. Gonna recommend going to some of those to get more in-depth on that. Congratulations to the person who highlighted how they put a tiny little hyperlink in some other text for you to actually get to the essays, or these essays. They've got some ones they feature so that they are actually like camouflaging the whole thing. It's like one about love and one about Heavenly Mother or something, you know? Anything to keep you from getting here. In fact, they even have another hyperlink in between there that says, learn more about how the Holy Ghost helps you, or something. Everything to keep you from actually getting to these essays, which discuss problems that the church basically can't possibly defend, because the truth is the problem. Like the DNA, for instance. Everybody coming from Siberia that's an American Indian or Native American doesn't work well with the Book of Mormon narrative. When the church switched from saying the Lamanites were the primary ancestors of the American Indians in the Book of Mormon preface in 2006 because of pressure from all of this on business about the DNA, they go with the assertion, they go with the new argument that they just disappeared into a pre-existing population of people, which is a problem because the Book of Mormon says that that's basically not true, and that God would preserve the land for the descendants of Lehi to possess unto themselves. See the videos. And of course the people had to be pre-Adamite people that journeyed from Siberia long before Adam put on the fig leaf and didn't get washed away by Noah's fake news flood. Anyway, learn more about it. The details are in the links. It's been a Mormon Truth video. May or may not have been on the Dodger Game channel.